You can't even define fascism. I challenge Kamala to tell us what it is, because a majority of the country doesn't know the word. She needs non-college educated blacks, whites, and Hispanics to turn out for her. And she is smearing her rival as with a mid-20th century European political philosophy. Okay, Jessica.
You think people don't know what Hitler is?
She's calling him a fascist. Go out on the street, ask 20 people what that means,
send Johnny
Jessica.
On the Hitler patrol.
I will.
Jesse Waters, who works for a company that had to pay nearly $1 billion for intentionally misleading its audience under the assumption that its audience was too stupid to know that it was being lied to, thinks that Kamala Harris supporters are too stupid to know what the word fascism means, which is hilarious, primarily because this is a thing that has been said about the right time and time and time again. So here he is just playing a reverse Uno, I'm rubber, you're glue. People on the right love to use words that they don't know the meaning of. They love to discuss complicated ideologies that they haven't read about or studied themselves. How many people who regularly call Kamala Harris a commie have actually read the Communist Manifesto? How many people who are anti-fascism know where the word fascism even came from? And they love to just parrot talking points from podcasters because it makes them feel informed and edgy and ahead of the collective stupid curve. And there are countless man-on-the-street type interviews or rally interviews that prove that so many of Trump's supporters do not understand why they believe the things they believe. And I know these interviews are cut and spliced and cherry-picked so that they can be shared on social media, either to spread awareness of who is actually deciding the future of this country or to drive engagement for the people who posted the video. Maybe both, but regardless, a common theme that you find with the people who can't simply answer questions about the candidate they're rallying to support or the issues they're rallying to promote is that they're scared of some nebulous cloud of irrelevancy that they can't really identify or define, and they're generally ill-informed about the world. Arguably, being well-informed about the world is also scary, but it's a different kind of scary. And of course, no one wants to believe that they are not the brightest in the bunch. Most people don't even want to explore the idea that they might be a little less erudite than their neighbors or strangers on the internet. In our hyper-polarized and politicized society, there is no room for education or insight, let alone compassion. There are only pointless online debates that are meant to be won or lost. Of course, winning and losing is relative in these types of informal forums, so we're all just wasting our time trying to talk to one another as our nation becomes further and further divided. Aren't we tired yet? I do this for a living and I am tired because there is no convincing people of anything at this point. It's not even about convincing. It's difficult to just get people to listen to your perspective at this point. You have one candidate saying actually fascist things in public forums, and when news outlets say, this is literally what he said, here is the quote, his supporters all say the exact same thing. They say it was a joke. The woke left can't take a joke. This was taken out of context every time, not an original thought in sight. But speaking of original thoughts and intellectual capacities and just the ability to read and comprehend and analyze information, we are not in a good place in this country. In Ivy League universities, professors are complaining that their students are unable to read difficult or even lengthy texts. Some report that their students had never been made to read an entire book while in high school. They can't keep up with the reading load that had been standard for previous generations, so professors now have to dumb down their university-level curriculums to account for the fact that their students were poorly prepared for life outside of the public school system. And you can blame that on social media and cell phones in classrooms. You can blame it on brain rot from constantly consuming mostly pointless snippets of content for hours a day. Maybe AI is a contributing factor to kids not really doing their homework. Standardized testing has been shown to be problematic as far as actually educating students. You can maybe blame it on the high reported levels of anxiety amongst Gen Z and the youth, which in itself could arguably be blamed, at least in part, on them growing up in today's political doomsday climate, where they have to worry about the planet overheating and or getting shot at while they're trying to learn. I would imagine that's very distracting. But whatever the reason, the end result is the same. We're raising a generation of Americans who lack critical thinking capabilities, and we're creating an American society that cannot deal with itself. And sure, there are plenty of possible solutions solutions to the hole that we have dug ourselves in, however we got here. But there will always be opposition to those possible solutions, and the opposition, again, is unoriginal. Who's going to pay for it? Where is the money going to come from? Trump had no problem inflating our national debt while he was in office. Our Congress has no problem sending billions of dollars to Israel. The government overall has no problem spending money on the dumbest things while taking money out of the public school system. Then they act surprised when the public school system is struggling and they declare it to be a lost cause. They say, you know what? Let's just give up on it. It's unfixable. Let's just shut down the entire Department of Education. It's clearly defunct.
Anything to do with school choice also. Okay. But also, separate from school choice, we're going to take the Department of Education, close it. I'm going to close it. We'll have one person, could be you if you decide to retire.
Okay, Mr. President, here's what bothers
central casting.
Here's what bothers me about that. So let's say you have a liberal city, let's Los Angeles, San Diego, and they just decide we're going to get rid of that history. We got new history. This is America built off the backs of slaves on stolen land. And that curriculum comes in.
Then we don't send them money.
Our right-wing politicians say these things while promoting school choice because school choice directly lines their own pockets. But we know that our politicians are trash. The people who support them, though, I'll never understand why something like eradicating the Department of Education is a celebrated path forward. Ignorance is bliss, I guess, but I really don't want to live in a willfully ignorant society. Do you? All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks.